No hate, no shade, no the lady that tweeted this, but a lady said, at 30 years old, you telling me that you moving back in with your parents is just IDK. And what I do K is 45% of millennials and more Gen Zers is moving back in with their parents. And I can tell you why. Firstly, saying things like broke people shouldn't date makes a lot of sense, and I too second that notion. However, it is not realistic. Human beings are going to try to find a companion, and if I'm being honest, the cheapest thing to do right now is Netflix and with Netflix raising their rates every 3.5 months, that's becoming too expensive. We're going to have to bend it over at Barnes & Nobles. People go home to save money and save themselves from drowning in our student loan debt-filled, ratchet-ass economy river, not to impress other people. There is nothing wrong with having standards or wanting a man that's on his feet. However, if you know you cannot respect a man that has fallen off financially, there's no reason to stay in that relationship, belittle him, or ensure that both of you have a negative experience. Just go ahead and find you a man that's more equipped in this economy. And for those listening to this, like, oh yeah, tell her to leave. Typical black single woman rhetoric. Yeah. Leave him. Because if you think a broke man is mean, you ain't never seen a woman with a broke man that wishes he had money. Them ladies are cruel.
I moved back in with my parents like a month ago, after being on my own for like a year and a half. And at first I was super depressed about it because I'm losing my freedom and it feels like such a loser thing to do. But now I don't have any bills to pay. And I actually feel very free. I feel quite free. Yesterday, my mom made me breakfast, baby, and I didn't have to do anything. I feel really good. I feel really good. The whole independent woman thing, it was cute. It was cute while it was cute, but I'm having a lot better time not having to pay rent every month, you know? Nothing is my responsibility anymore. And that's actually goals. So I won't be moving out again until I get married. I'm good with that.
You got your own crib and you can't afford it, go back home and live with mama. It's okay. I graduated my master's and I stayed with me and my dad. We had started getting back on good terms. You know, I stayed with him for a year and a half before I moved out.
How old was you?
25.
See?
25. Out my master's. I was like, I ain't moving to the city because I can't afford it. I ain't have much saved up.
Self-awareness.
Yep. I was like, shit, I'm gonna make that sacrifice, stay with him for 2 years, and then when I was up and I got my own spot for a year, and then I bought a house after that.
What stops a lot of people from doing that? What my homies gonna say? What
pride and
the
ego.
chicks gonna say?
Listen, if your ego bigger than your bank account, you need to reevaluate, and we just gonna keep it a buck. That's just what it is. If you got too much ego to say, hey, I can't go back home to get my shit together because I want to live this type of life or I want to look a certain way, who you really trying to look good for? We just gonna keep it, but most men, they trying to look good for the bitches on social media. No disrespect, I'm sorry, the women on social media. That's what they trying to do. They want to look good for so-and-so to impress her, when it's like, bro, all you gotta do is be yourself.
How much money did you save that year staying with your pops?
Man, I was making 75.
See?
So all I had to do was help him with a couple bills, pay insurance and car note. Other than that, so I probably was saving a good 3 to 4, maybe 5.
Every
I ain't
month.
spend too much every month. Yeah, so that puts you in a good situation.
Save
but we don't
4,
think
5.
that. We turn 18 and say, hey, I got to get my own. I got to get out here and get it. Why? Why are you doing that to yourself? Other
Cultures
Asians
like
don't do that. We the only ones who do that thing. I turn 18, I got to go.
And it's a lot of times it's the parents that saying now you 18, you have to go.
And if that's the case, find a roommate. You got friends. They parent might have said the same thing. Instead of, oh, no, I need my own spot. No, you want your own spot. If you can't afford it, it's okay. It's okay to say, hey, bro, I can't do this right now. Let me go stay in somebody's basement that might only charge me $500-$600 a month. Rather than trying to go get a 1-bedroom and spend in Atlanta, you're going to spend, what, $1,700, $1,900, $2,100 on a 1-bedroom?
Crazy.
Because you want to live in the city? Just be smart.
People always say they want to be like you, but don't know what you have to do to be like you. One of the things people always tell me is like, how did you buy a house like that at 31? How did you buy a house like that at 31? I went back home. Bachelor's degree, husband, 2 kids in tow, went back home. My mother, and this is a privilege, right? Like, my mom had a house that was big enough for me and my family to be in. But let me tell you the story. I wanted to buy a house. I had written down my list. I wanted to get a bachelor's degree. I wanted to go into law school. I wanted to get a new car. I wanted all these things. And I told my mom about my list. And she was like, you're not going to get that paying New York City rent. Come home. And I was like, I ain't come home. I'm grown. I'm not coming home. And my mom was like, if you want those things, you're going to have to sacrifice. Come home, make a plan, buy your house, and then go back. And then do whatever you want to do. Needless to say, right? When I initially came home, it was only a 1-bedroom, right? My husband went with his mom for a little bit. My kids stayed with me. My mom fixed up the basement to make the basement of her house an apartment for us. And this is why you could never play with my mom. But she fixed up the apartment, made it a place for us. We stayed there for 4 years. Any debt that I had, student debt, whatever debt that I had, we cleared up. Then, we made a little mistakes here and there with our finances because we had money now. We were both teachers. We were home. Like, we had extra money. We paid our bills, but we had extra money. But needless to say, my mom was like, okay, hey, let's think about the plan. What you're going to do is you're going to keep your salary since you make this amount of money. Your husband's salary is going to go into the pot for the house. And any extra money you do from other extra jobs is what you guys will spend on this, right? You're going to cut this. You're going to cut your amount into 4, put them in different pots, let that grow, and then you can go buy a house. I was like, all right, bet. I'm listening now. When you're a teenager, you don't want to listen to your mom, but I'm listening. Within 6 months, I had the money to buy my house. And my house is very nice. It's very nice. A house with a pool in Jersey. And granted, I know people don't want to come to Jersey, but I love it here. I'm never going back to Brooklyn. What I paid for this house is what I would have paid for a 2-bedroom house in Brooklyn. Now, a house is not for everyone. It is a lot of responsibility. But don't let anybody make you think that going back home is a step backward. If you have a village, use it. If you have to go backwards, that is just what it is. You go backwards and you have a plan to take 10 steps forward, period. Anyway, I went home. I figured it out. I did it. You can too. Don't let nobody make you feel ashamed.
So if you're living at home, here's a tip. I see so many people moving back in with their parents, and I'm like, y'all, I never left. I did an internship in Florida, came back, I knew this was home. You do this short-term, thing for a long-term investment in the end, right? And I think to myself, I have forever to have my home and my peace and my sanity. That's longevity. Do this for now. So the tip is, you know your parent. Try to be one step ahead of them. So because I'm home, I'm saving tons of money. Whether it's mom or dad, once a month, just do something nice. And it can be so simple. And this will just decrease the arguments and the nagging and the things, that go on in the day-to-day household when you're living with your parents. Whenever you go somewhere, you ask, does anybody need anything? And granted, you might think that's so simple, but you'll be surprised. So many people that are living with their parents, but they live like this double life and act as if like their parents don't exist, right? So I went to the nail shop like I typically do. My mom was like, can you run a Walmart for me? At first, I was about to say, that was not my plan today. But I was like, you know what? Yes. She tried to give me the money for what she needed. I was like, nope, I have it, right? Only because this will decrease the argument in the long run. Not saying I deserve a cookie for being a great child, but I'm just saying it will decrease the arguments if you just do something like once a month. So small. And then be ahead of the chores. Because your parents are only getting older and slower at this point. Not slower as in mentally, but their bodies are moving like turtles. So if anything, if there's dishes, I'll already do it. Trash, I'll already do it. I'm one step ahead. So what is there to even argue about? And then I will plan my life around the things that I have to do. I'm just saying, try it when you go back home so you don't have to argue as much.
Why does no one prepare you for how genuinely fucking crazy living with your parents as an adult will make you feel? Especially when you've already lived on your own for a significant amount of time and you end up moving back in with your parents. That shit is so fucking humbling. I was living on my own, with roommates, but on my own, out in Utah, where the rent for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment was $1,500. I paid $500 in rent to have a gigantic master bedroom and bathroom. I wanted to move back to California, where I'm from, so I moved back in with my dad because rent-free. Yeah, I'm financially stable, but at what fucking cost? It sucks because I feel fucking ungrateful. I love my dad, I do. And the fact that I get to live in Orange County, California, which is ridiculously expensive, and super close to LA, which is also ridiculously expensive, and I get my own bedroom and bathroom for literally no rent. Right, I need to be grateful, but oh my god! I hate it here. I'm living in my fucking childhood bedroom. And mind you, I've been living on my own since I was 18 because I got kicked out less than a month after I turned 18. I feel like a kid again and not in a good way. There's very little room for personal growth when you shove yourself back in a cocoon that you have already grown out of. And it sucks because I feel like there's this resentment that builds up. And it's like, I love my dad. I don't want to resent him. But when he's just there all the fucking time, like, I have a cat, so I can't keep my doors closed, right? I have to keep my doors open or my cat will just fucking sit there and scream. My dad just walks right through him. Walks right through him. I'm a grown woman! You know how long it's been since I can't even flick the fucking bitch! Let alone, like, God forbid, bringing someone home and fucking them in my bed. I can't do that shit. I'm not doing that shit in my childhood fucking bedroom when I live with my dad. And I've tried to be like, yo, can you please just like fucking knock? Like, it's his house. I get it. It's his house. You can open my bed. Like, oh my God. You know it's bad when like the sound of their footsteps coming towards your room fills you with fucking rage. But I feel so fucking bad because it's like, damn, he is just letting me live in his house rent free. I'm a grown adult. I should be able to like pay my own bills and pay my own fucking rent. Also, inflation, bro. What the fuck do you mean it will cost me $1,500 for one room in an apartment split with multiple people? What the fuck? And I am very lucky in the fact that like he lets me leave the house whenever. Like, I can go do whatever the fuck I want. But it's the constant like having to check in and having to tell someone, yep, I'm alive. Yep, I'm going here. I'm hanging out with this person. Like I'm a fucking teenager again. And him constantly coming back to me like, are you okay? Are you okay? Do you need anything? Do you need me to do this for you? And it's like, fuck! I should be grateful, right? I should be happy. I should feel loved that someone cares enough to like care if I'm okay and to consistently check in on me. And if you've never experienced this situation, then yeah, I probably sound like an ungrateful fucking bitch. But if you have experienced the situation, you know what I mean. It like just slowly drives you crazy because it's like, bro, I'm an adult, but I really just don't fucking feel like one. I miss feeling genuinely independent and feeling like I can take care of myself. I miss getting to have people over and like hosting events and just hosting people. Don't even get me fucking started on the decor because, oh my God, why do all the common areas look like that? I miss being able to decorate and living in like a cute apartment, having any fucking say on anything that goes on inside the house. Mark my fucking words, 2024, my goal is to move back out because y'all, I cannot fucking do this anymore.